True evil is something that is very hard to write for some people. A lot of the time, villains are often given a tragic past as a way to explain why they are the way they are. And this type of writing is all over the place nowadays. But you still have your villains that are just evil with no remorse and no redeemable qualities. Although it is seen much less. I want to take a look at a very interesting example of pure evil in media. Today, we're taking a look at Junko Enoshima from Danganronpa. Now, Danganronpa is a very weird, stupid, and complicated series to explain, but I'll do my best with what I got. So let's take a look at Junko's backstory, as well as everything else she does in the story. From the moment she was born, Junko was already fucked up in the head, since according to her, she was already filled with despair and saw her own birth as a mistake. That's one hell of a way to start, Jesus Christ. We don't really know much about Junko's upbringing other than she was homeless at some point. But it's safe to say that she was a bit of a privileged girl, given where she landed later on in life. Junko is the twin younger sister of Mukuro Ikusawa, the 16th student, lying hidden somewhere in this, and Junko's favorite pastime was to abuse her and manipulate her, something that she would continue to do for many years. I guess Junko abused her so much that she got into it. Like sexually, actually. Oh yeah, there's also this guy. We'll talk about him later. Junko was a very intelligent and beautiful young woman, so she managed to become the world's most popular fashion model with relative ease. You see, Junko's analytical mind was rather unparalleled, since she basically saw the outcome of everything before it even happened, which bored her to death, and was one of the reasons why she adopted the despair mindset, as it was more unpredictable and fun for her. Despair is a big part of Junko's character, and something I'll expand upon later on, but something that you need to know for now is that Junko loves despair. She can't get enough of the stuff. She would always do things to cause despair to herself, like building a sandcastle that took a month to make, only to destroy it before it was finished. And her modeling career also filled her with despair, since most of her fans would be creeps objectifying her and not ever seeing or caring about her true self. Junko's life is basically this one picture right here. I know, I feel bad for her too. Her modeling career was so successful that she was scouted by Hope's Peak Academy, an institution who looks for the most talented people in one particular field. She saw this opportunity and decided to go, you know what, I'm going to make this worse for literally everyone ever. From there, she would mastermind the events of the whole series, and use everything and everyone she could to cause unprecedented amounts of despair. Basically, orchestrating various tragedies and events that in-universe would lead up to something called the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, which involved a bunch of students killing each other and society as we know crumbling. Pretty sure I can name a handful of events in history that are more tragic than a bunch of kids killing each other, but hey, whatever I guess. All is going according to plan. But Junko decides that she needs a memory erasure device so she could manipulate people even more! So she went to her boy toy Matsura to look into it, since he grew up to be the ultimate neurologist. Junko and Matsura have a very interesting relationship, in that they were both childhood friends and Junko was very much in love with him. However, just like Mukuro, Matsura was a bit of an enabler. So the relationship is not really great, to be honest. She asked him to use her as a guinea pig to make sure that the memory erasure worked, and she goes as far as to create a diary with fake memories for her to learn, turning from Junko Enoshima to Ryoko Tanashi. And Matsura, God bless his soul, realized that Junko was a menace to everyone, so he tried his best to keep Junko as Ryoko, so she couldn't harm anyone. Sadly, he couldn't contain the beast for long, and Junko ended up killing him, bringing more despair to herself as she had just killed the only person she ever loved. Oh, she also convinced a bunch of kids to not use it, but only to use them in her schemes to cause more despair. Especially this one and her connections to the Towa Foundation, so Junko could create a Monokuma army. Monokuma is basically Junko's mascot. She uses it for just about everything and makes sure that her followers brand themselves with it too. All in the name of despair. Now, what the fuck is despair? Seriously, I've said that word so many times now, it's starting to lose all meaning. Well, to put it simply, despair is the absence of hope. It's the idea that things cannot get better and will only get worse. That the bad situation you're in is inescapable and you should give up. Though in the world of Danganronpa, it's taken to the next level and it's treated like a disease. Something that infects your mind and makes you basically become an anarchist. Now, Junko's way of looking at both hope and despair is that hope is the expected, the status quo, the predictable, the boring. Meanwhile, despair is the wild card, the unexpected, the exciting. And for someone who is always 12 steps ahead, it's the option that brings the most entertainment. This is the part of the video where I go over her mental illness and how it affects her and everyone around her, but I'm pretty sure you don't need me to explain this to you. Junko is fucking crazy and evil. Now look, while most of the time I would love to dive into the psychology of a character, I feel like doing that here would be an insult to every other character that I have analyzed or will analyze at some point in the future. Like, yeah, sure, I could say that she has dissociative identity disorder, but can I really say that when her reason for switching personalities is because she's bored? I could say that she's a megalomaniac, but I feel like other megalomaniacs would want to stab me for insinuating this girl is one of them. I could say that she has antisocial personality disorder, but frankly, I'm pretty sure any professional in the field of psychology would send this bitch to the electric chair. To put it bluntly, there is just no reason for anything Junko does, psychologically speaking. She's just a bitch that wants to watch the world burn. And that she does. She manipulates and abuses everyone around her and has no remorse for it. She only cares about despair and its effect on people because she wants to be entertained. She's smart and has a scheming mind, but as you'll see in a moment, all that smart won't save her from a 4-letter word. So, skipping over the fact that the world ended, we see how Junko decided to play Jigsaw after reading Battle Royale, monitoring her classmates and forcing them to kill each other under the identity of Monokuma. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Monokuma is also her persona. She even forced her sister to take her identity so no one would suspect that she was behind it all, and to sell the lie even more, Junko killed her. And no, Mokuro had no idea this was part of her sister's plan. Poor girl. Some total drama island bullshit later, we are now at the end. Junko has revealed herself and is ready to make her remaining classmates fall under despair. But unfortunately for her, she met her match, thanks to a very boring boy with a funny haircut. Makoto Naegi basically flips the script on Junko and tries to instill hope in his classmates, the opposite of despair. It is all a matter of which ideology would win. The idea that you should give up and succumb to your negative thoughts, or have the strength to fight on and live to see things get better. In the end, Naegi's hope overcame Junko's despair, and he managed to save his classmates, which drove Junko over the edge and made her commit the goofiest suicide I've ever seen. Seriously, what is this shit? So Junko's dead, right? Yeah. But just like most people do when their factory reset their computers, she made backups. Junko's influence continues after her death. From convincing a bunch of children to kill adults in the most fucked up version of Codename Kids Next Door you'll ever see, to make an AI version of herself and put it inside of a virtual reality simulation where she planned to put her consciousness inside of people's bodies so that everyone would become her. Wow, FNAF really ripped that off, huh? To have an army of robotic murderous teddy bears to kill millions, etc, etc, etc. Now I move on to Junko's personality. She is, for lack of a better word, a crazy cunt. She's absolutely and utterly insane and uses her looks and intellect to get what she wants all the time. Also, Junko has this habit of changing personalities because, as she puts it, she gets bored and wants to switch things up, going as far as to copy another character's personality. I've seen a lot of people compare her to the Joker from DC, and I have to say that the comparison is rather adept since both are sadistic, crazy, and they're both after the same thing: anarchy, chaos, and for people to go insane just like them. I will say that the Joker never really got to the same level of destruction that Junko did, because the moment this bitch had a chance to enact her plan, society collapsed. Then again, she never got beat up by a suspiciously wealthy furry, now did she?
Where are they?
And that's not even mentioning that you can't beat Junko, really. Her personality and ideology basically boils down to, if I win, that means that you will feel despair, so that means that I was right. Or, if you beat me, that means that I will fall under despair, and I will get off to it. So either way you slice it, you can't really beat her unless you basically go, both hope and despair suck, fuck your game, fuck your ideology, fuck your big tits, and fuck you. Since that would make it so she can't feel anything but emptiness. She didn't win because you didn't fall under despair, and you also don't believe in hope, which means she can't get the satisfaction of her opposing ideology beating her. I have to say, even if I think she's a bit overplayed as a villain, hell, the last game in the series pointed this out.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Even if nobody was waiting. Even if it makes you go, what? Again?
There you have it! Once again, the mastermind is Junko Enoshima!
I have to say that I really like Junko as an antagonist. Her chaotic and manipulative personality go well with her intellect, since a lot of the time characters that are revealed to be masterminds are usually either egocentric assholes, quiet geniuses, or have no personality to speak of. Junko breaks the mold and actually manages to be both entertaining and scary. She's basically a whole-ass Looney Tune, and that's pretty neat. Also, yes, I'll be the one to say it, she is pretty fucking hot. I'm not saying I can fix her. Lord knows that if a lobotomy didn't, nothing will. But all I'm saying is, I'm not above sticking my dick in crazy. I know I make my analysis to be in-depth and educational, but here, nah man, she's just fucking crazy. Which is to be expected since her creator, Kazutaka Todaka, has said that he felt that giving a villain a sad backstory is like cheating. So, he made Junko the most irredeemable person ever. I know there's some people out there that genuinely believe that with enough help, she probably wouldn't have ended up the way she did, aka a turbo terrorist. And while I think that could work for a lot of characters, with her? Nah, she belongs in the chair, my friend.
That was horrible! Your wish is horrible! You're horrible! You're an irredeemable monster!
Oh, what took you so long, idiot?